Good morning, everybody. We're back here. How not to get ripped off by a car dealer team. Doing this for a long time. We're live. We're right here in the studios in North Palm Beach, Florida. The True Oldies stations. There's several in South Florida. But we also stream all over the world. We have Facebook, facebook.com/Earl on Cars. And we have youtube.com/Earl on Cars. So a lot of ways you can stream us or listen to us. We hope that you'll listen to us for a while. I don't expect you to listen to us for the full 2 hours because we're on from now. That's about 8 a.m. Eastern Time to 10 a.m. Eastern Time every Saturday, 2 hours. Mainly talk. It's live talk, which is exciting. There's just not a lot of that going on now. There's so many other areas of entertainment, but I don't think live talk will ever die. I mean, there's nothing that can match it. It's exciting, it's fun, educational, it's real. I mean, you can't, if you play the game honestly, which we do, we don't screen our callers. We don't ask them, what are they going to say, or are you happy, are you mad, do you have a constructive criticism, or you just want to tell Earl he's stupid. We accept all calls, and we get mainly very good calls. In fact, the calls we suddenly realize have been the backbone of this show. We literally learn more from you callers than I think that we teach the people that are listening. Extremely educated, well-informed people from the streets of the USA and around the world. We hear experiences at car dealers that are very educational to everyone listening. And we have advice and suggestions, criticisms. So we prioritize your calls. I'm going to give that telephone number out, and we hope you have time to call us. Please write it down, because I know you're not going to want to call us right away, but if you tune in and tune out, sometime before 10 a.m. Eastern Time, call us at 877-960-9960. That's 877-960-9960. And you can make a note if you have something on your mind and call in anytime during that time. We prioritize your calls, and we have other means of reaching us, which I'm going to give you the information to in just a minute. But the calls, whenever they come in, Nancy Stewart is sitting to my left, and she just did what I was going to say she would do. She tapped me on the shoulder because we have a live caller.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. We have John from Palm City. Welcome, John.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to discuss a topic that Nancy spoke to 2 weeks ago. She touched on it, and it's amount of car insurance and the way it's going through the roof. It's unbelievable. It's not only on a car, it's on a house. It started in California, and it's spread now to all of the state of Florida, and companies like Farmers Mutual and AAA have pulled out completely. And the reason that they stated on it are several. One is the cost of new replacement parts on a car if it's hit or stolen. Two is stealing, theft. Theft is out of sight, unbelievable. And naturally, the availability of replacement car, replacing a lease car while your car is being fixed. But here's what I want to say. The number one thing is car theft. And I've been there. I hope nobody has the experience that I did. When I lived in New York, I came from a flight at LaGuardia Airport, and I, with the luggage, came to pick up the car, and it was gone. It was gone with the wind.
Wow.
No sign of it. Had to take a cab home. And it's unbelievable what's going on. Memphis, Tennessee, there was 11,000 cars stolen in 2022. That's twice as much as 2021. They had to actually set up a sky tower in the heart of town with the police look overall, like a overall view. It got so bad. Columbus, Ohio is another one. Tremendous theft. Buffalo, New York. It could go on and on. Minneapolis. It's unbelievable. And one of the big guilty people was Kia and Hyundai. Kia and Hyundai had a problem with stolen cars 3.8 million Hyundais that were available to be stolen, 4.5 million Kias. It's been corrected with software updates, but the attorney generals of 17 of the United States had to sue them to get the recall on those cars. So it's completely out of sight. It's unreal. I don't know where we're heading because the car insurance renewals, especially, are so high. It's just unbelievable. And I just want to ask. Another thing too. 2 weeks ago, if you saw the fire in Newark, New Jersey, on the Italian liner,
Yeah.
that had 1,200 used cars that were being shipped out, completely out of the United States to who knows what countries. And this is another problem that's going on. One of my 3 cars that were stolen, they were all Toyotas, were found on the way to the Throgneck Bridge in Queens. They ran out of gas on the expressway, and they presumed that it was being taken out of state or out of the country. But I just want to mention, and I want to, we're back to the old bars on the steering wheel. I want to see if Rick recommends using that or what he thinks about a deterrence that we could prevent from these stolen cars being done.
If you got 2 identical cars sitting side by side, and one of them has that big old steering wheel club locked on the steering wheel, that one's going to still be there because it takes more time to get to defeat that.
Sure.
And they're going to go for the easier car. So yeah, I totally agree that those can be worth the money to get them and use them, but you got to remember to use it.
Well, that's a great suggestion, and it's not just the club, but any theft deterrent that the potential thief thinks is on that car is going to make him go to the car beside it that has nothing. I mean, you can have glass etch, you can have a artificial sticker that says this car protected by GPS, and as long as why should they take a chance? Why not take a car that's totally unprotected and they're sure of it? So I think that's a great idea. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money on theft deterrent. Just put a sticker on the car saying it is covered.
A lot of companies used to sell these little devices that you could kind of wire it in and have a light that would show up on your dash.
Oh, yeah.
That would just sit and blink, and that's all it did.
Yeah.
But it made them think that
Yeah.
you had a car alarm, and if the guy next to it doesn't have that, obviously they're going to go for the easier target.
It's like security cams around a home or a business. You can go on Amazon now and you can buy a fake security camera that looks as authentic, maybe more so than a real one. And you put those up, they cost maybe $10 a piece instead of $100. And people think you have security cams. They rob your neighbor's house instead of yours.
Yeah,
Sure.
exactly. There was a time that I didn't get out of my car unless I put that locking bar on my steering wheel. There was a time when nobody got out of their car, almost nobody, and they did the same thing.
My
So-
favorite thing I always heard about that was somebody'd say, "Oh well, they can take liquid nitrogen and pour on the lock and break it with a hammer."
That takes some
I think-
time.
Well, I'm just wondering,
He's
how
walking
many
around.
people wander around with liquid nitrogen on them? I mean,
Professional
I've never
thieves.
had any of that in my life, and I'd love to play with some.
That's a good one. How do you like that, John?
Thank you, John.
Well, it worked
You're
with the
always a
bar.
great caller.
Do you have any other
No, I bought that bar, and I never had a car stolen after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But is it that easy if the car is exported, like this ship in New Jersey? Is it true? Earl would probably answer that many of the cars, they don't require the title or the ownerships, and they're not even on a national register of stolen cars, and they just get shipped out 1, 2, 3. Is there any truth in that?
Yeah, there's the few serious problems we've had in our dealership, and it's been a long time, knock on wood, but professional thieves, they do exactly that. It usually happen around an area where a port exists, like the Port of Miami, Port of Fort Lauderdale. So people will come all the way up to Palm Beach County, jump in a car, drive it straight to the port, put it on a boat, and it goes to Panama, or it goes to some other country that's not too careful about checking cars when they come in. So yes, that happens all the time, and that's a real pro. And the real pro is awful tough to stop because he's really educated and knows what to steal and what not to steal and how to get rid of it real fast.
Well, everybody be cautious. The bar is a good example to use.
Exactly.
Thanks for the call, John. Stay tuned for our mystery shopping report. It's going to be very interesting. You're going to enjoy it.
All right, guys. Thank you again for being there.
Thank you. 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Don't forget your anonymous feedback. We love hearing from everyone who uses youranonymousfeedback.com. We are going to stay with the phones, and we're going to go to Lance, who's become a regular caller from Tennessee. Good morning, Lance.
Good morning, Earl.
Hey, Lance, boy, now you have to stay tuned because the dog of the week that we have is a coonhound, and I know that's kind of a southern thing, coon hunting, so we got a coonhound named Sully that we're trying to find a home for. Do you need a coonhound?
I'm sitting here looking at one. Matter of fact, it favors my first wife. Earl,
You're a hoot, Lance.
In your introduction today, you talked about educated and informed listeners. We felt like that you were reaching out to us this morning with that comment, and we came up with a little song to start today's show off.
Let's hear it.
If you're sitting alone and no place to go, it's Saturday morning, Earl stood on the radio.
You mind if I save that audio clip? We can use
really
that
good.
on our introduction. We'll use that for advertising if you'll sign off on it.
That was really good.
Well, I'll sign anything.
I do too.
I listened to the interview of the current president of the Ford Motor Company on CNBC this week, and he certainly is changing the face of Ford.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not exactly sure it's for the best, and I think that Ford is facing a revolt in dealers. You know, everybody in this world is not comfortable buying a car on the internet.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't. You're absolutely right. It's a generational thing, and when old guys like me die off and nothing is left but the young folks, everybody's going to be using the internet. But I think if you're born in the 40s, 50s, or 60s, the whole idea of committing your hard-earned cash via a smartphone or a computer it leaves a little chill. You know, you're a little bit nervous, and you're absolutely right about that.
And you know, Lance, it gives you, it gives some of us some protection, and it gives us control to go to the internet. But myself, you know, maybe it's my age. I don't know. I would rather go into the dealership.
Yeah, pick the product off the shelf, put it on your arm, pay for it, and go home. It's a simple thing to do. So a lot of people still feel that way.
Well, you all talk a lot about A&I. You know, we've got a tremendous amount of A here, but not much I.
I was wondering where you're going with that. That's a good one.
Have a good show today.
Thank you, Lance. Stay tuned for the mystery shopping report. It's going to be a doozy.
We will.
All right.
Yes, definitely. You want to hear this one.
Lance sets the mood for the day.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to let everyone know that we do give $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. Ladies, give us a call. Let us know what your experience was in service, sales, lease, or if you just want to call and say hello. We'd love to hear from you, and it's a win-win situation. I'm trying to build a platform for the ladies right here on Earl on Cars, and we're doing a pretty good job of
You
it.
sure are.
So join us this morning, the first 2 new lady callers, $50. We are going to go to, speaking of lady callers, we're going to go to Pat. She's calling us from New Jersey. Yay, New Jersey. And she is a first-time caller. Good morning, Pat.
Good morning.
Welcome.
How are you today?
We're great.
Thank you.
Nice to hear from you, Pat. You just won yourself $50 this morning. And when we're finished talking, if you would like to stay on the line and get your contact information from Jeremy, it will allow me to send you a check for $50.
Wow, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I wanted to ask Earl a couple questions. I have a 2008 Prius, and it's I have 176,000 miles on it, and the main battery is still it keeps charging up. It never seems to let me down. I was just wondering how often I should get my car tuned up.
Well, that's my answer, but I'm going to turn this over to Rick. My answer is check your owner's manual, and they will tell you exactly when. But Rick, what's your comment?
A tune-up on a Prius is simply replacing the spark plugs, and it takes a little while extra on those because the way the engine is designed, it's kind of buried under what's known as the wiper tray. So the cost on that, let me get my head around the numbers here. You're looking at about $300 for replacing those spark plugs, and that needs to be done about every 120,000 miles. So if you haven't done that, it's definitely time to do those spark plugs. That's all there is for a tune-up. Your coolant is due at 150,000 miles, and every 50,000 miles after that. And this is coming straight from the Toyota factory recommended maintenance. Other than that, it's just oil changes and air filters and that. But as for the HV battery, the computer keeps such a close watch on it that if there is a problem with that battery, it'll put up a warning light to tell you. Otherwise, you kind of have to have some faith in it and just go ahead and drive it and enjoy it, because trust me, a lot of people get concerned about the animation showing where the battery level is on that screen. All that is an animation to help encourage people to drive in a more fuel efficient manner. But it correlates somewhat to what the actual battery is doing. But that big hybrid battery is never going to be fully charged or fully discharged. It's always going to be going up and down, because it's constantly using power and getting power back into it.
Pat, how many miles do you have on that warranty?
Have you done a spark plugs on it yet?
Yes.
Okay.
I did.
And
I did it late though. I did it late around 150.
that's all right.
But
Better late than never,
Yeah.
Pat.
And did you do the coolant? Have you had the coolant replaced yet?
I'll have to ask the guy that I take the car to. I haven't been to the dealership in maybe years, but
That's
one guy.
totally fine. But there are
I'd
two.
have to ask him.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember.
Good
Yeah, 'cause
idea.
There are two cooling systems on that. One is for the engine and one is for the hybrid system. And I do highly recommend the Toyota Pink Super Long Life Coolant, because it is specifically designed for the Toyotas especially. But yeah, other than that, and anybody can do that fluid change. But yeah, you're in good shape. I would keep running that car.
And
Oh yeah,
and
I'm
Pat,
going to drive that darling right into the ground.
yeah, Pat, you know, and I know you're driving a great car. Doesn't require a whole lot of maintenance. So for that, you sound like as if you're an educated consumer. Wish you a lot of luck. And if you don't have any other questions, I will put you in contact with Jeremy now. How's that sound?
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Have a good day, everyone.
Give us a call again, and thank you for helping us build this platform here for the ladies.
Okay.
Our number here is 877-960-9960, and you can text us at 772-497-6530. Don't forget youranonymousfeedback.com. And remember, I have $50 for the next new female caller, so give us a call. We are going to go to Charles, who's calling us from Connecticut. Good morning, Charles.
Good morning. I've got a question or two for Rick. Pros and cons and costs. I'm looking for a second opinion. And he may want to grab a paper and pencil or just answer these as they come up. I have a 2009 XC70 Volvo station wagon. It's got 71,500 miles on it. I drive it about 5 months, maybe 4,000 miles during the summer, and then I'm back to North Palm Beach. And it's the 6-cylinder, 3.2-liter engine. I got a suggested list of not repairs, but preventive maintenance probably. One is a coolant flush, and I just heard something called long life coolant, which is interesting. $460. Spark plugs, $590. And I do know that Volvo recommends replacing those at 75,000 miles. Engine and cabin filter, $327. A brake flush, $251. And then what precipitated all of this was the fact that there's a crack in the windshield washer reservoir. And I don't know if that's just a tube that runs there or if it's the actual reservoir. But anyway, net cost $2,275.
Wow.
And I do,
Goodness gracious.
I do plan on keeping the car because it's solid. There's no rust. 2009 Volvo station wagons seem to me to be a pretty solid keeper. So I hope you're not throwing up there, Rick.
No, I'm sorry. I just had
A little bit.
Hey, Charles, we all
there
are.
was a moment there when you hit me with the air filter cost.
We're gasping.
That was like, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Where did this happen? Is
Just
this in Connecticut?
Yeah.
This is up in Connecticut. This is not back down in Florida.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not super familiar with the prices on Volvo. However, the coolant flush, I would check the owner's manual for your recommended maintenance and see if that's a Volvo required thing at that time. Because like Toyota says, at first one is due at 150,000. And the super long life is simply what Toyota calls our pink coolant. And so I would check and see what Volvo uses, in their recommended
How much
maintenance.
was his? What did they charge him?
Like 300.
460.
Yeah, Charles,
460,
Charles,
yeah.
the bottom line is, if you haven't checked your owner's manual, you should, because don't buy anything from an independent repair or a car dealer repair that is not in your owner's manual recommended by the manufacturer. So,
Absolutely. I would go with that for the spark plugs and the coolant, and check and see if that brake flush really needs to be done. As for those air filters, go on YouTube and look that up, and I would bet that if you can't handle replacing it yourself, you can find some young guy nearby that can watch that YouTube, replace those two filters, and it shouldn't cost you more than, even if you bought the filters from Volvo, it shouldn't cost more than $100 for the parts. And normally replacing air filters is about a 5 to 10 minute job. Even a cabin air filter, some of the worst ones I've seen, the hardest there are to do, they take 10 to 15 minutes. $300 and some odd dollars for
Charles,
two filters is nuts.
Go to Consumer
Ridiculous.
Reports. Okay, check your Consumer Reports. I have them pulled up here. Just put in Consumer Reports car repair, and they have a advice for you. You put your zip code in, you tell them what car, year, make, and model, and they will tell you the recommended independent and dealer repairs, and they will also give you an estimate of the fair price of whatever operation is recommended. So Consumer Reports car repairs, and put your zip code in New Jersey where you're located. They'll give you the place that are honest, trustworthy, and have fair prices, and tell you what those prices would be.
Yeah, because
That's very
online,
helpful.
a
What do you
coolant
think
flush should be
about
about $200. For a Volvo, the average is $219. 219 for the coolant flush, yeah, is the average.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm thinking that the car is at this point 14 years old, so it's probably time to get the coolant out of there and replace it. And every now and then, Rick, I've noticed that when I start the car up, it will misfire for a few seconds. So I quickly turn the engine off and start it up again with no problems. And I'm guessing that may be related to the spark plug's age. Who knows?
That can certainly be if they've got a little bit of fouling on the spark plugs. Or I have seen some engines that when they sit for a while, a little bit of oil or coolant can seep past some of the seals and slowly go down into the cylinder, and you'll get just a small amount in there. But when you first start the engine after it's sat overnight, it's got to burn that off, so it can make a little misfire or even some smoke for a first minute or two. If that's all it's doing and it runs normally and smoothly once it's warmed up a little, I wouldn't be too concerned on it. I would just keep driving until it gets worse, for the main reason being that an older car like that, you don't want to put a whole lot of repairs in it because you're not going to really see a big return financially in the value of the car later. But you also don't want to waste a bunch of money on it and trying to fix things that really don't need to be fixed on a car that you would rather, trade in later or sell later. It's not going to change that value very much. I would just keep driving it and get the best use you can out of it.
Well, speaking of continuing to drive it, I'm wondering if there's anything else that you'd recommend, like belts or hoses, because I don't want to be stranded along, who knows where, with a busted belt or something like that.
I go with a visual inspection. If the hoses aren't leaking, they're good. If the belt doesn't have cracks in it, it's good.
Charles,
Okay.
thanks so much for the call. You want to stay tuned for the mystery shopping report if you want to, open the door into your situation with pricing. You want to listen to the mystery shopping report from Sutherland Nissan. Thank you. Pardon me?
One quick final question. Wait times on a Highlander hybrid.
Stu?
Highlander Hybrid is over a year right now. Those you asked about the toughest one right now to get. That and a Sienna. The hybrids are just second half of the year are seeing an increase pickup in production. So the pace at which they're getting delivered to dealers will pick up a little bit, but it's still going to. Well, we have people on our waiting list right now that have been on it for over a year, and they'll be getting theirs shortly after waiting a year.
That also depends on what the dealer's charging, and because we have a fair price MSRP, we don't go over that.
We have a list.
But if you find that model on a Toyota dealer showroom, they're probably asking several $1,000s over.
For a hybrid, definitely.
Well, I want to buy it from you, but okay, I'll let you move on to the next caller.
Okay.
And Charles, it's amazing how your order can be expedited whenever you don't get, I'm going to call it crazy about the color of your vehicle and a lot of other things. You can get a lot of quicker. 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. We are going to go to Lisa from Pompano Beach, and she is a first-time caller. Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning. How are you?
We're well, thank you. Thank you for calling,
I'm so glad I came across you folks. I really am.
Oh, thank you so much. There is a lot of information to take in, isn't there? If you stay on the line, you can talk to Jeremy in our control room, and he will get your contact information. That'll allow me to get you a check for $50. Okay?
Oh, that's awesome.
Thank you. What can we do for you this morning?
Okay, so I caught the end of your show last week when I was driving to work, and today I didn't have to work, so that's why. First of all, do you have a YouTube channel?
Yes, we do.
We do.
You do? Okay.
Yes,
Can I
just
get
look for
that?
just look for Earl on Cars on YouTube, but you could just go directly youtube.com//Earl on Cars.
Perfect,
But using the
'cause
search
I'll
on searching on YouTube is what I do every time I get
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. So when I caught the end of, well, it was early in the morning because I usually work at 8, so it was like I caught, let's just say it was 7:45 last week. I have a Toyota 2005 green Camry. Now, I think it was a woman that was speaking, actually, and it was something about the car paint, and then she said that it was something about the insurance, that the insurance has to, so she has to rent a car in the time that the car is being repainted.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, she had the paint was peeling off on her car. And,
mine too.
Right, and there was a Hyundai, and there is a class action suit, and there might be an extended, like a warranty campaign to have that repaired by the dealer at no cost, and that's what she was asking about.
Oh, it was a Hyundai. It wasn't a Toyota. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing a lot of Toyotas around
Well,
here that are the same thing.
Yes, well, Toyota went through the same thing, and particularly on the white pearl paint that they had on a lot of models, and that campaign expired 2 years ago.
Of course it did.
Yeah, but it's going on for a while. Yeah, and a lot of people are coming to like our dealership. Gosh, we were repainting hundreds of cars, and it didn't cost the customers
Yeah,
anything.
Lisa, if just because you're out on mileage or time on a recall campaign of this nature, sometimes, especially if you're a good customer, if you're a Toyota customer, if you patronize a particular dealer, they really value as a customer, they'll stretch on the mileage and time on these campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
We've had people come in with delamination paint problems that have been out by, a year or two or more, and mileage-wise, and there's something called goodwill and customer loyalty. There's a couple of other hidden clauses that manufacturers use to help out good customers. So find a dealer that'll go to bat for you and call the manufacturer and ask them to stretch the warranty on what you're trying to get repaired.
Okay, yeah. I mean, the Florida sun just does a job in your car. But the other question is, I don't know if you put, because you guys are in Palm Beach County, I'm in Broward. I don't know if you've been seeing it on the local news about people stealing the license plates.
No, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that up here. No.
No, we have.
So it's been in like Lighthouse Point, Pompano, Boca. They're stealing, and some of the times they can't get them off, so they're leaving them banners. And I have the the little beeping thing in the car, but there's no way to really secure a license plate.
Yeah,
because then I'm sure that
because the license plate itself is pretty flimsy, so you can put big bolts on it, but it'll still pop off. There is, law in Florida. You can't cover up any information that a cop would have to see on the road, but there could be maybe a license plate frame that bolts on the security thing. Rick's nodding affirmatively. So take a look at like an auto parts store or Amazon or something like that for a secured license plate frame. Rick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's the thing with.
They make mounting bolts for the license plate where you can use a metal frame that's heavy duty, so they can't just bend the plate and break off the section with the sticker. And certain bolts they'll make for mounting them in that are an uncommon type of bolt, so it uses a special what's called a Torx bit, and that makes it to where they can't just come up and unscrew the bolts to yank it off real quickly. So those are two ways that you can help to protect your license plate.
Yeah, definitely will slow them down also, but that's a great
And
idea.
then you catch them on camera. Yeah. Okay.
I'm looking
Happening
at-
in parking lot at school. I have one last question, but it's not too much. So my husband has a 2007 Dodge Ram, and it has like over 100,000 miles on it. And now his AC, and it could be. So he used that. I don't even know what it's called, and he's not a mechanic type guy. He's a specialty of his own that he does, but he doesn't know anybody. Put the coolant, I guess, the stuff you put into the. I don't know what it's called.
R134.
Maybe it's a can, and it has like a little thermometer or thing on it. Is that making sense to you?
STP.
He's using one of those recharge kits for for Freon. Freon is what used to be called R12. It's kind of like a brand name for it, but with air conditioning, it's actually best to have a professional do it, because if you get too much air in the system, it winds up actually mixing with the R134 and the chemicals there, and can create a mild acid that will start to destroy the other components. That's why a proper air conditioning job, before it's recharged, it has to be vacuumed out completely so that there's no air left in the system, because otherwise that can actually wind up damaging the other aluminum components. Cost you a lot more money in the long run.
Right. So how much do you think a job like that would go for?
It would have to be diagnosed and depend on what needs to be done.
Yeah, and because we have so many callers, Lisa, that are backed up, I'm going to leave you with this real quick. Go to Amazon. Amazon's Choice. Get yourself an anti-theft license plate frame. It's tamper-proof. $20, $21. Yeah, you can go that. And as far as your peeling paint is concerned, I can't tell you the number of people that have had that problem. Where there's a will, there's a way. You can get that taken care of and have it paid for. Lisa, thank you so much for calling
Thank you
and
so
helping us
much.
build this platform here. Have a wonderful weekend. We're going to go to John, who's calling us from Stewart. Good morning, John. Good morning, John.
You out there, John?
Good morning, John.
I hear him.
Yep.
There he is.
Okay, you can hear me.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, now.
My brother-in-law 9 months ago ordered a RAV4 hybrid from you guys, and so he just got a email or whatever call and said it's in. So he's up in New York, so he's going to come down in the next few days and get it, I guess. But he wanted me to ask you guys, I know you sell it at MSRP, but do you guys ever, in the times that we're in, do you ever negotiate lower than that, or that's
No.
probably you just stick
No,
on
that
it,
would
right?
No, that wouldn't be fair to the other customers. It's a one price system. Even before this whole crazy inventory system, before this the inventory dried up and everybody's waiting for their cars. Back then, our one price was much lower. But we
That's
just
what I thought.
Now. But here's the thing: his is already in. But whatever the market is right now, we will never go over MSRP. And when the market goes to MSRP, we will be lower.
Yeah, eventually we will adjust prices, hopefully downward, because that'll mean that the fair price is below MSRP like it used to be 3 or 4 years ago.
Sure.
So when that time comes, we'll be adjusting our price. But we basically sell every car at the same price, the lowest price. We don't. The President of the United States is going to pay the same price as
As your brother.
as my brother. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. Hey, one more quick question. My neighbor, because it kind of piggybacks on that one guy that's wanted to pay all that money. He's got one of those Audi station or SUV things, like a Q50 or something like that. And so he came back yesterday and said, "How you doing?" He said, "Not too good." He said, "I just paid $800." He went there. He had an oil change. They rotated his tires, and he put in a new battery. And I thought that was like
That's crazy.
nuts. Isn't that? Don't you think that's way too high, or what?
I think it's. I mean, when you said Audi, I'm
I think Rick's
thinking. I don't
crying.
know. I mean,
Is
because
Rick crying?
we hear like luxury, luxury manufacturers. I mean, the cost of simple maintenance is really high. What you said was shocking. So it. I don't know.
Audi doesn't have a counterpart automobile they manufacture that's for the common folks. So I tell Cadillac people
What about
to to get their car fixed at a Chevrolet, Lexus people to get their cars fixed at a Toyota dealer. But Audi,
Right.
they stand alone, and you just pay all the money. If you can find an independent foreign car dealer, German cars.
What about Volkswagen? Doesn't Volkswagen own Audi?
It's a European car, but I know it's not.
Yeah, they do.
don't-
Volkswagen, Porsche, and Audi.
Maybe pull into a
Okay.
Volkswagen dealership and see if they
Hey,
do.
Stu, have you priced that service at a Volkswagen dealer lately?
I haven't been to a Volkswagen dealership in 56 years.
They're high priced.
Smart.
Yeah.
50?
56 years.
56 years.
Yeah.
You're old.
Unbelievable.
Got
So,
five
if
callers
he'd bought
on the
his
line.
tires at Firestone,
Oh.
if he'd bought his tires at Firestone or somewhere, they rotate them free. And I know it doesn't. An oil change is not going to cost. I got a Porsche, and it cost me $200 to get the oil change. But I mean, yeah, that's stupid.
That's crazy.
But anyway,
Outrageous.
okay, enjoy your
Thank you,
show,
John.
guys. Keep it up. Good work.
All
Sure,
right,
bye-bye.
thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, we're going to go to Mike, who's in Aventura. Good morning,
Good
Mike.
morning. Hi, good morning. I have 3 quick questions. Number one, there's been a lot of talk, unfortunately, about AM radio going out of cars. I understand that a lot of car dealerships wants to get rid of AM radio. Is that true?
That's true, but there's, I think, a couple of manufacturers. It's not the car dealers; it's the manufacturers. I think they've reversed course. Do you remember which manufacturer it was? It was at Ford. Yeah, Ford
think it
had
was-
announced that they're going to remove the AM radio from all the cars, and it's going back in. Other manufacturers are going ahead with it, so you won't be able to tune in AM.
Yeah,
to the
Mike,
radio.
remember you can also stream AM if you have the streaming ability. So I think we're just seeing the evolution, the change of technology where streaming, it's kind of like broadcast television versus cable television. People are streaming more, and the TV channels are going broke because people are going to Netflix or Hulu or someplace like that. So probably
A lot of the guide dog schools and a lot of the places are against the electric cars because they don't make any noise for blind people like myself crossing the street.
That's true. The hybrids, anytime an electric vehicle is mandated that they have to make a sound, each manufacturer has their own sound, but it's used kind of like a low whining. It has a mechanical sort of sound. Rick and I joke around and say it sounds like a scary chorus because it has a howling aspect to it, but that is true.
Howling.
Wow. I would definitely, you know what? If I needed to get a car, I would definitely get a car from you. Only I don't have a girlfriend yet to drive it, but I'd love to get a car.
Yeah.
You might meet one at the dealership.
Yeah.
And Mike, I have to wrap it up. Do you have any other questions?
Yeah. One more thing. Do your radios in the cars have knobs or just a screen?
That's a good question. Some do,
Most
some
of them
don't.
will have one knob, and it's a screen and touch and push buttons.
Oh wow, I miss the knobs because I used to love the DX on radios. But anyway, listen to distant stations when I would go traveling with my friend.
Right.
Anyway, thank you very much, and I enjoy your show.
Mike, thank you so much for tuning in. We love hearing from you. Give us a call more often.
Okay, thank you.
We know exactly who you are. Okay,
good.
we are going to go to Marty. He's one of our favorite callers from West Palm Beach. Good morning, Marty.
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Great. We're talking fast.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a fast question.
Okay.
I intend to buy my wife's CRV in a few months, and I want to know, once you buy the car, the title obviously is in the name of Honda, the Honda company.
Right, her lease.
So do you have to take all the paperwork that they send you once you buy it? Do you have to take it to the DMV to get it put in your name?
If you're doing it on your own outside the dealership, yeah. If you do it through the Honda dealership, they'll take care of the transfer for you.
Yeah, but they're going to charge you for that. That's the problem.
Yeah, probably.
They charge you for everything, Marty. They shouldn't. They didn't used to years ago, and then when the junk fee craze stopped, that became one of the favorite loopholes. They call electronic filing fee, or
Right.
they make up fees. It's profit. It should be overhead cost, but they try to charge you twice.
Yeah, Ed Morse, who has your back, they want $999 to do that.
Wow.
So I could go to the DMV a lot cheaper than paying $999.
For sure.
Now,
Morse has got your back.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of a play on that phrase. I'm going to come up with a good one.
Oh, good.
Right. Now, the other
Got your
question
bank,
I have
maybe?
is,
Ed Morse has got your bank.
let's say when you get all this paperwork, you don't go to the DMV, but the car is registered in your name. Will you keep getting your registration if you never go to the DMV, but you pay more for a leased car? So the DMV still thinks it's leased, but you're going to end up paying more, right? Every time you get your registration.
If you
don't bring it into the DMV, the paperwork.
you have to, because at the point when the lease is expired, that car is either going to go back to Honda or you're going to buy it, and when you buy it, it's going to change title. You can't.
Okay, so you have to bring it in, and
well, yeah, you have to change the registration. Yeah, you have to transfer the tag.
Now, one other thing is, if I had it where they sent it to me, and all of a sudden you 5 months from now, you had a Toyota that I wanted to buy, could I just come in with all that paperwork to you and buy the Toyota, or do I still have to go through the rigmaroles with the DMV?
No, if you just turned in. I'm not following you exactly. If you turn in the lease and you buy
in
the
other words,
Honda.
I'm buying the car.
You buy the Honda and then you trade. Exactly.
And I want to trade it in the next day. Once I get the paperwork from Honda.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you could. You'd be riding, that day on an invalid tag, but you could get. Yeah, that could happen. We wouldn't have to ever title or transfer the tag to the Honda.
Okay.
Well, I mean, actually, let me think about that a little. We'll get into other callers, and if I come up with a different answer, I'll keep listening.
All right.
I'll announce it.
Well, I know they have my back, so
They
right
have-
now
they got more
I'm
than that.
definitely driving. I'm driving out, doing it myself.
All right, do that. That's better. That makes more sense.
All right. Unless things change now, leases might be better in April again. But I doubt it.
I think they will be. Well, I'm an optimist. I think things are going to change by next April. So
Well,
hang in
we'll
there.
see. I have to disagree with you because they're making too much money the other way.
For sure. Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Marty.
Have a good weekend.
Great
Thanks,
to hear
Marty.
from you. We're going to go to Phil, who is calling us from Jupiter. Good morning, Phil.
Yes, I was reading an article. I've got a 2017 Chris, and I was reading an article that said you should change the oxygen sensor. And I wanted to ask for Rick, I said, is that right, or what is an oxygen sensor?
If you get a check engine light on and the code says that the oxygen sensor, or they're now called air fuel ratio sensors, if the code says that that's the bad component, then yes, it should be replaced. Otherwise, nope.
Never.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Real quick, the sensor goes in the exhaust pipe and it determines how well the engine is burning the fuel, and it tells the computer whether it needs to adjust more or less fuel for the amount of air coming into the engine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and my other question is, I was reading this article by the CEO of Toyota saying that they're looking into ordering cars directly from the dealer. Have you all heard anything about that?
Nothing officially. I mean directly from the manufacturer.
Yes, I mean from the manufacturer, correct.
No, I haven't heard anything about that.
I seriously doubt that, Phil. I have to say that I think that's in the minds of all manufacturers. In fact, my recent blog that I just wrote, The Nature of the Beast, why car dealers take advantage of you, I wrote about that issue, and the manufacturers secretly want to sell cars directly. They see the success that Tesla's having and some of the other electric vehicle manufacturers. The electric vehicle manufacturers, because it's almost like a new product, were able to get around a loophole to get through the state laws that require that all cars be sold by dealers. But the manufacturers would much prefer to go direct because the car dealers aren't doing the job for them. And but I can almost guarantee you, Toyota would not make that public statement. Now, in the privacy of the boardroom, when they're talking about what they'd really like to do, they probably have a master plan. But we dealers don't know about it.
Officially, I was looking as recently as April. Toyota's officially they said that is not in any of our plans. They're not going to do it.
No, if they were honest, they would alienate the dealers. And the dealers are very powerful. I mean, you think, well, General Motors is powerful, Toyota's powerful. You take all the car dealers in the world and you put them together, and they're very well organized, and they make a lot of money, and they have a huge number of PACs, Political Action Committee, and they are, lobbying-wise, they're like big insurance. They are really powerful. So the manufacturers want to keep us car dealers happy, and the last thing they want to say is let it leak out that they're thinking about selling directly and eliminating us as the retail arm of their business.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for the information. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Phil. Give us a call again. That column that Earl wrote, I'm going to tell you, is fantastic. You definitely want to take a read. It's filled with a lot of information. Earl just takes you from the beginning to the end, and why there is so much deception. That's nature of the beast. And I love the graphics, why car dealers deceive you.
Scary. It scared Josh. Josh saw it, and
he
didn't
was
want to do
scared.
it. Yeah. He told me, he called me afterwards and said, why is Dad sending me scary pictures? It was like a Cookie Monster nightmare.
That's it, Cookie Monster. Okay.
That's Beast from X-Men.
That's okay, yeah. I'm not that
We are
culturally.
going to go to our favorite person. He's a regular caller, educated, and, well, filled with a lot of humor. Roadrunner Steve.
Me.
Good morning, everybody.
Hello.
Earl, last week I was listening to the show and I had to pull over because I was laughing so hard when you came up with a word for peeling paint that comes off the car. I couldn't even pronounce it.
Banana,
Whatever that word
banana lamination.
Yeah, that's it.
Say that 3 times.
No, I can't. What I wanted to ask you about, I read a little article about Tesla electric cars, that they go in for less service. Is that correct?
Yes, that is true.
Okay. The thing was, the tires on electric cars are not being looked at since you're going in for less service for tire wear.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
That. Okay. Now, the other thing is, when you buy a Tesla, does Tesla offer you a warranty on anything?
I think I don't know what the terms of the Tesla warranty are, but yeah, there is a manufacturer warranty.
It's competitive. I think it's 3 years, 36,000.
Yeah.
It's a very comprehensive warranty, competitive with all the other manufacturers.
Okay, but what about the batteries? Are those in a warranty?
I think so. So it's a 4-year, 50,000-mile basic warranty, and then the powertrain, which there isn't a powertrain, not in the conventional sense of a powertrain, is 128 years.
That should be an unlimited warranty.
I'm going to say,
no powertrain.
I'm just going to guess, and I'm sure people can correct me, is that powertrain has to do with the motors and the battery.
That unlimited, is that onto an extended warranty?
I don't know. I don't know if Tesla sells extended warranties, but I don't know if there's any unlimited aspect to the. The battery, and here we go. The battery is, and it's different for models, but 8 years or 150,000 miles is the battery warranty on the Model S. That's the one you're driving. The Model 3 is 8 years, 100,000 miles. And on the other ones, Model 3 long range, Model Y, yada yada, 8 years or 120,000 miles.
Okay, so after 100,000 miles, you want to sell that Tesla. What are you going to get for it?
Well, that's going to be a very good point of negotiation, because if you're selling a car that's coming up to the end, a lot less.
I've been thinking about that. I think I'm going to get not much, because the prices of electric cars are coming down, even on the expensive ones. And you just saw the other day where Ford cut the F-150 electric by $10,000. So there's a price war going on. Tesla and all the EV manufacturers are cutting prices. So that's not good for the guy that bought the car 2 years ago.
So nobody would recommend buying a used Tesla, right?
I'd recommend you lease it. I mean, a used Tesla?
Yeah,
no, I think you could get a good buy. I think you could get a good buy on a used Tesla.
I just wouldn't buy one with 120,000 miles.
No, that's true. Yeah, but you want to be sure the price cut compensates you for the fact that you've got a car that's near to battery failing.
True. Now tell me that word again. Banana-rama. What was that?
It's called banana lamination.
Is that a real word?
Yeah, that's a real word. Lamination, delamination.
I'm going to look in the Landrill's dictionary to look that word up.
All right, go ahead.
It sounds almost like a medical condition.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Banana delamination.
And thank you for your answers.
Thanks, Steve.
Bye-bye.
Nice to hear from you, Steve. At the halfway point, we've got the Big Dog Ranch coming in, bringing in Solly. Solly is a coonhound.
Yeah.
Yes, Rick.
One quick note on the Tesla thing there. Donovan just came in. He says he mentioned the same warranty that Stu did, and he says that Tesla also does sell an extended 2 years additional warranty. I don't know whether they would extend the mileage or not. And he says the battery and drivetrain are covered for 8 years, and 8 years is the minimum by law. California is 10 years.
Okay.
Great information. Okay, folks.
Thank you, Donovan. You're the man.
I love this guy. He's awesome.
He's amazing. He really is. He knows it all. As I was saying earlier, just a couple of minutes ago, we have the Big Dog Ranch Rescue bringing in Solly as a coonhound, and he is a Georgia boy. You're going to love him when you see him, so stay tuned for that at the halfway point, and then we'll get to the mystery shop.
But you don't want to adopt Sully if you have any raccoons in the house.
Right.
Well, maybe you would to get rid of the raccoons.
Or if you want raccoons.
Well, wanted raccoons, right.
Absolutely. Hey, 877-960-9960. We're going to hear from Stu and Rick.
Right.
And you can also text us at 772-497-6530. Your anonymous feedback. Don't forget, www.youranonymousfeedback.com. We are going to go over to Stu.
Yeah,
Rick.
we're going to hear from Anne Marie.
Anne Marie, good morning.
She says, good morning. Good morning. I realize that production isn't back up to pre-pandemic levels, so that may affect your answers. Number one, what are the best-selling vehicles at your dealership right now? RAV4's number one selling car, followed by Camrys, Corollas. Those are the
RAV4 hybrid or just RAV4?
Gas RAV4. We sell more of them just because we can get more of them. Toyota's combining the two. Eventually, they're just going to call them RAV4, starting in 2025, I think, or maybe even next year. But RAV4 is the top-selling vehicle. What vehicles are least in demand? That's easy. The BZ4X, that's our electric vehicle that we have one that's still sitting there. Other models are like Sequoias. They're not like the really big SUVs. That's everybody wants.
Why don't we discount that car?
Huh?
Why don't we discount it?
Because we don't have them.
Oh, I thought you said it's just sitting there. I thought you said we had one.
Oh, the BZ4X.
Yeah, BZ4.
Because we'll sell it.
Okay.
We'll sell it. Or trade it for a RAV4.
Yeah.
No one's going to do that though. Hey, will you give me that RAV4? I got a BZ4X. What is the most popular features that your customers want? Blind spot monitor. That is by far the most requested feature. It's a safety feature. It's standard on some models and higher end things, but it's one of the safety features that's still an option on the lower end.
Yeah, the original blind spot monitor was the backup camera, I guess, in a way.
Kinda, yeah.
And now it's expanded. So, yeah, I love my Tesla because it has cameras all over the place.
Right.
Well, it's autonomous, so it has cameras everywhere. Yeah. And I can just sit in my seat driving, and I can see everything around me. I can see further ahead through the cameras because the cameras are mounted over my head, and I can see. You know how you pull up to a stoplight and the truck in front of you prevents you from telling whether it's red or green? The camera on top of my Tesla tells me, and even though I'm right behind the truck.
Or the ones where you pull up to the stoplight, and it's so high in the air and so close to the intersection that you can't see it. You're craning your neck to see it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What I love about the Tesla, and I think that since more cars have more cameras on it, that's a great feature, is that little chime that you get when the light turns green.
Yeah.
It recognizes it. So if you happen to be, you're not playing on your phone, of course, but if you have to be not looking at the light and you don't want to get that beep behind you, the light turns green inside the car, goes, bong.
Yeah, that's really a great feature.
It's like a little
one that I really like. And on Squawk Box this past week, somebody was talking about these features that are on this the screen, the panel, the yoke, and what a distraction! And that Elon should think about revising.
The guy in the car behind you loves it too because these idiots that sit there and don't start, and the light goes up, and you're in a hurry, and they blow the horn at you.
That's a good feature.
I'm going to embarrass my brother Josh. He didn't notice the light turning green all the time, so I politely just go.
I like that.
And it's kind of funny.
Anyway, they were asking Elon to just sort of change.
Make it simpler?
Yeah, change the aesthetics of the.
I like my car's
of the dash,
cockpit to
the
look
wheel,
like
and the
Apollo 11 dashboard. I want to see as many dots and knobs and everything. It makes me feel like I'm,
You're the pilot?
Yeah, it makes it feel like I'm doing something special.
That's probably how Jackson feels. He's tuned into the radio show, and I believe that he's in his little electric car right now.
Hey, Jackson.
Hey, Jackson.
What features you get the most complaints about? A lot of the entertainment stuff.
Waiting for service.
Cell phone
These are talking about
connections.
features of cars.
Oh, features of cars.
Yeah, features of cars. Cell phone.
Getting your cell phone paired and getting the cell phone to connect fully with the car.
Yeah, that's one. A lot of things are like kind of mundane things, like seat issues, like it doesn't move into a comfortable position. But a lot of the high-tech features now are people are pairing their phones and they're using their stuff on there. They're used to the maps. The navigation used to get a lot of complaints.
And to a general answer would be not understanding the complexity of the car. Cars are becoming so complex now that you really have to study the owner's manual to know. I still don't know how to operate my Tesla. There's so many features.
I think it's a valid thing to say.
High tech, yeah.
Yeah, what's the number of complaint? There's too many things to figure out.
And the sad thing is, you can take it into your dealer, and they can't explain it to you. I mean, Rick probably answers more questions than anybody else in our dealership because he knows more about the high-tech features of the cars. So the technicians in the dealership, forget the sales force, they don't know anything about the car. And I say that tongue-in-cheek a little bit, but
it's changed a lot.
Because
that's what happened was, I think, there was a period of time where you had the old type of features that everybody was used to selling, and the new ones came in all computerized. That's pretty much all there is now. So everyone's forced to.
It's like anything else. The experienced, dedicated, good salesperson does have a lot of knowledge about the car.
Yeah.
But people
and there's a
start.
range. There's
you
a
got
range.
New salespeople. The guy used to be selling Kias. Now he's selling Hyundais, or the guy selling Hyundais is selling Toyotas. It takes a long while to learn these very complex machines.
You got the guy that's been there for 50 years, and he didn't know about Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Honestly.
We have a texter, Marty, just wanted to correct you from last week, Earl. Ferrari sold 13,221 cars in 2022.
Who did?
Ferrari.
Oh.
Enzo.
Yeah. I know it was a small number.
Yeah.
What did I say, 130?
Well, I guessed. Listen, he said 13,000. I said, I went 10,000, and you said in the hundreds. All right.
I love admitting when I'm wrong.
Yeah, and you know, and it's fun for us to tease you and correct you because you're the boss. We get to tease you. All right, I think there might be one. There is an anonymous feedback. It says, Earl, you keep talking about a chip shortage. The old chip shortage. I'm making air quotes. Chip shortage line. Right. There's no longer a chip shortage. LOL. This is merely the new excuse to get us to pay more for a car. There still is a chip shortage. It's improved drastically. The reason I know there's a chip shortage is because big banks like Morgan Stanley, they're making forecasts on huge amounts of money for a lot of rich people, and they're basing it on the information, their research into the industries. And I just read a Morgan Stanley report that the chip shortage is abating, but it will continue into 2024, but continuing to getting better.
Yeah.
So
the manufacturers are a different animal than the dealers. And the manufacturers, the name of their game is high volume and market share, and they still feel that way. It's kind of a primitive way to look at life and business, but that's the way they do. Honda's got to outsell Toyota. Toyota's got to outsell Ford. Everybody has got whoever's ahead of them in line. The manufacturers want to be number one or number two, where they have a place in the pecking order that they feel they must be. And they just shove the cars down the dealer's throats when they're available. And they love to do that. So when they're not shoving them down the dealer's throats, that means they can't build them. But I promise you, there's not a manufacturer out there that's holding back on production on purpose. They want to build every car they possibly can. Now the dealers, on the other hand, they'll hold you up and they'll charge you a huge amount of money to buy a car. But manufacturers, their profits baked in when they sell it to the dealer. When Toyota sells us a car, we don't negotiate. That's the price of the car. That's the price you pay, or you don't get the car. So, and if they want us to take a car, most car dealers, we don't succumb to pressure, but a lot of car dealers do. Most Toyota dealers do. And Toyota, if they had too many cars, they look you in the eye and say, we have 100 cars allocated to you. We sure hope you'll help us out. Yeah. And if you don't help us out, you wonder, what are they going to do to me? And that's the reason car dealers typically have way too many cars.
that's right. One just came in, anonymous feedback from someone we know, from Agent Sprinkle. That's one of it. She's
Agent Sprinkle.
remember. You just had a call from someone who said they had ordered a RAV4 hybrid 9 months ago from you, and it has arrived. I ordered a RAV4 hybrid 10 months ago, and it has not arrived. What gives? Well, it's not all RAV4 hybrids are the same. There's color, equipment, and trim level, and some come in easier, like Nancy mentioned before. Customers that give a wider range of color and equipment or even trim levels. They just get me a RAV4 hybrid. I don't care what it is. It will get there a little sooner. It's not drastic, but yes. So they don't come in at the same time on a conveyor belt.
And I also say this: the squeaky wheel gets the oil, and because I get a lot of calls. People call me about these things. All I do is I'll call Stu, or I'll call our inventory control manager, Laura, and interestingly enough, when I push a little bit, and Laura pushes a little bit, and Stu pushes a little bit, somehow things seem to happen, and cars seem to come in faster. So, squeaky wheel gets the oil. If you ordered a car and you haven't had it, they told you it'd be in 3 or 4 months, and it's been 6 or 7. You should call the dealership. You should speak to someone up in the ranks, not the salesman that sold you the car, but the sales manager or the general manager, and say, what can you do for me? Sometimes that turns into a conversation about, well, would you take a white one instead of a green one? Or do you have to have the sunroof? And you make a few compromises, and you suddenly find out that you can get the car quicker than you thought. But don't sit there and stew and worry about it. Call and complain, and that'll expedite.
All right, we're caught up. But Rick, what's going over there in the land of YouTube?
Got a couple here. One is from Bruno. He says, quick question. I bought a new car a couple months ago, but recently I've been loving the Supra 3.0 Premium. Could I sell my car instead of trading in and negotiate the value for positive equity?
Negotiate.
Can you repeat that again?
I didn't understand it either.
Could I sell my car instead of trading it in?
Okay, sell it to somebody else.
And negotiate the value, pardon me, and negotiate the value for positive equity.
That makes no sense. Okay, sorry.
I'm not sure what he means there.
All right, maybe you could rephrase it, and then we can read it.
As far as the Supra goes, we have a fixed price on the vehicle, and everybody pays. We put our lowest price on every vehicle we sell, and that's the price you pay. So.
Yeah, but if he sells his car and negotiate the value of his trade after he sold it to somebody else. If he wants to negotiate on the new Supra, it would be no. But I don't understand the part about the trade.
Yeah, we'll see if he comes in with some more information.
Okay. Oh, I see. I think I see what he's saying. Yeah, he's saying what you just. He's saying negotiate because he had negative equity when he sold his car. He'll sell the car, and it cost him money because he had to pay the car off, and he wants to pick that up by having us discount the Supra.
No.
Answer is no.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this one from Casey up in, I believe he's in East Tennessee. Yep. It says. Why, when you call a Toyota dealership to get your car serviced, they always ask, did you buy the car here? I'm wondering, what's the purpose of that question?
One possible good, honest reason the answer would ask it is because we would have the information in our computer about what service had been done and the VIN number and all the details.
Mm-hmm. And another reason is for like a retention program, like we have Tires for Life. We'd like to know if they have bought the car here because they would possibly qualify for a program like that.
But I think the implication is if you didn't buy the car here, we wouldn't take as good care of you as if you did buy the car here. It used to be years and years ago, car dealers looked at it that way, but they don't so much today. But there's still an element of truth to that. You take a Toyota, it looks that way. The manufacturer looks that way. If you have a good customer, you do a little more extra for those good customers that are loyal and have bought. We have customers that have bought 20 cars from us, and we have people that come in off the street never bought a car. So. To be honest, who are we going to treat a little nicer? Probably the one that bought 20 cars from us.
Yeah, no.
I mean, it'd be crazy not to. You got to be honest about it.
I'm pretty sure our system, like we get a phone number or email address, and it pulls it up right away on the computer, and you see if they bought the car.
I'll tell you, the manufacturers do that. If you have a car that's slightly out of warranty,
they want to know.
They found out they bought 3 Toyotas before, that they're going to get a little cut more slack than the guy that never bought a Toyota.
I will
before.
tell you this, in those warranty exceptions I've been involved with, I have never seen them turn down somebody like some people. They've bought 10 Toyotas in their time.
That's right.
They're a lifetime Toyota owner, and they take care of them.
And we do the same thing as a dealer. I mean, I had one the other day. He had a tire problem, and I told the service advisor to sell him the tires at our net cost, what we paid for the tires.
Because it was the 10th time he's complained to you. I said, well, all right.
But he's a good customer. Yeah.
It is. It's relationship. So when you have a good relationship somewhere, that's naturally what's going to happen.
Well, and in service, we've heard the phrase, sales department sells a person their first new car.
Right.
Service department sells every car after that.
Right. Exactly.
So,
and we have customers that come in that understand this, and the first thing they say is, I've bought 12 cars from your agency, and then go into the complaint to let you know, to let us know that he is.
Well, statistically, customers that return for service are 50% more likely to buy another car from you than those that don't return.
That's right. All right, I'm all caught up over here.
That's got us pretty well caught up as well.
Okay. I'm going to take a minute and mention this news that we've been hearing lately, and it's all about babies, dogs being left in the back seat. And my goodness, we all know how hot it's been getting, and with the humidity and heat index, it takes a very short time to die in a back seat of a car when you're left back there.
Had that happen in South Florida not too long ago.
Yeah, just recently, there was a baby that was forgotten. My point is that, they keep saying, and I'm not sure everyone's listening, lock. It's lock before you leap. So pay attention. If you have a grandchild, if you have a child, a dog, there's so many aftermarket products that you can purchase, and I'm sure Rick knows a whole lot about them. He has a dog, and he's probably seen a lot of situations that have come through service.
In our Tesla, we have something called doggy mode, which could just be called child mode. It's just not a good idea to leave a child in the car, period. But if you're going to leave anybody in the car, animal or human, you don't want to have it set where they can't get out of the car and they're not kept cool. But with the doggy mode, Nancy and I just came up to the studio here. It's going to be 95 or 98 degrees when we leave the studio. And I punched doggy mode on the car. It'll be 72 degrees in the car. And I don't think it's that costly. I maybe Donovan or one of my experts out there could probably tell me, but you don't want to leave your car running in a combustion engine, but when you put the doggy mode on, the battery just powers the AC, and I don't notice a huge drain of battery power after I leave the car for a couple hours. So I'm sure we'll have some experts that'll get back.
Donovan just chimed in.
I know it.
He says, Earl, you also have something called overheat protection. Make sure it was not turned off, and your car will never get above 40 degrees Celsius inside, which, let me Google real quick what the 40 degrees Celsius is in Fahrenheit for those of us.
9/5 C plus 32 is the formula.
Smarty pants.
How do I remember that?
While Rick is looking that up, there's so many things that you can do. As far as tint on your windows, now, there are a lot of people that are having installed ceramic tint. And gosh, does that help? It really cuts the heat index in your vehicle, and it protects your skin. It does a whole lot of things. So everybody keep an eye on the back seat who do have children and dogs, you may save a life.
Sully has entered the room.
Sully has arrived, and and he is so cute. He's from Georgia. Hi. Thank you.
How are you guys?
Thank you.
We have our
we are
big dog.
a camera up on Sully in just a moment here.
A big dog ranch dog of the week has entered the studio, and he is absolutely
Is he adorable?
adorable. His name is Sully, and he's a coon dog. And a lot of you folks out there, from the South particularly, coon hunting is a big thing in the South, in Tennessee and Georgia. And
Where do you
this
see
guy
him?
here, Sully,
He's so cute.
he's an expert.
Stu's gonna fall in love with him.
I know. I haven't even seen him. You guys snuck in when I was out.
You Southerners, I know we got a lot of people from Tennessee and Georgia. Who has ever heard the expression, the big coon runs late? Now, that's a hunting
look at
expression.
that.
A hunting expression.
Look at Sully and Stu.
Oh,
It's a sweetheart.
Oh, yeah.
He stands at the window just looking his eyes. You have to walk.
Everybody out there that's watching, I mean, take a look. Take a look at Sully. He is a lover. He is so sweet.
Oh, you're gonna-
He
you won't last the show. He'll have a home before the show is over.
he's not a typical hound, that's for sure.
I think Stu's going to adopt him.
He just loves daily exercise. He just loves he loves the water. He is just the perfect. What are you going to do, Stu?
I have
Are you
fallen in love with
adopting?
Sully. I think there's a connection. You know, my old dog Sully, who we lost in 2020, and the memorial garden at the Big Dog Ranch Rescue is named the Dolly and Sully Stewart Memorial Garden. And so this is the only other dog other than my dog Sully that I've ever met that was named Sully.
No, you're right. You named after Sully, the pilot that landed.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, that's what I did.
Landed in New York Harbor.
Land on Hudson River.
Oh.
Hey, do you have something to say? I have the microphone right here. Hey, Shelley, you have the biggest personality of any of the dogs.
Can
so
you
far.
imagine folks out there cuddling with Sully?
love you,
Look at Sully. He just loves his belly rubbed
back to
and
me,
scratched and
Here,
his
let's do this
ears.
again.
His ears rubbed. Look at those eyes.
Look at that tongue. You're a superstar, Sully.
Great tongue.
Hey guys,
Great tongue.
are
yeah.
you a hound lover out there? Sully's your dog.
Hey, kisses.
Very good. Rich.
Hey, Sully, did you ever catch a coon? Really, tell me the truth.
This dog's never caught a coon. This doesn't have the killer instinct. This is a very special, affectionate coon.
Well, they don't catch them; they tree them.
Oh, they just tree him?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't
They
know.
run
He
him up the
probably.
tree.
He looks like he could catch that.
He's fast.
Oh, he is fast. I can tell right now that he's got some serious fast dog musculature. Hey, listen, while Sully is over there giving Nancy love, let me tell you something. As our sponsored pet, our sponsored dog, we're going to take care of the adoption fees for anybody who adopts Sully through us. And you can do that by calling the show or texting the show or going directly to Big Dog Ranch Rescue. Their website is bdrr.org. And you can go, there's contact information there, so you can call them or text them. Oh, Sully's getting a little rambunctious over there. And they'll get right back to you. There's also, they list all the dogs that they have for adoption out there, and there's hundreds of them. So you can scroll through the webpage and see if there's another dog. But I'm telling you, Sully is, he's a winner. And while we got your attention, while you're looking at this dog and feeling generous, take a look at Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer. That's Earl's book. It's all the dirty secrets of the car business. And when you buy it, all the proceeds go directly to Big Dog Ranch Rescue.
Yeah, you go to Amazon and you buy this book. You got yourself a handbook of how not to get ripped off by a car dealer, and 100% of the proceeds goes to Big Dog Ranch and doggies like Sully that we show every week on this Find Homes, and we support. We're big supporters of Big Ranch Rescue. They're the largest no-kill shelter. We don't euthanize our dogs. We keep dogs for years, if necessary, until we find a home. And Sully will not last years. Sully will be gone today, so hurry up.
This should be adopted by Josh Stewart,
Right.
your son and my brother. He's thinking about a dog, and I'm just this.
Oh, yeah,
I have not
perfect.
met this. This dog is so gentle. This dog melted like caramel into my arms. But listen, this is live right now. But the show stays on YouTube and Facebook, so you can share it. So if you have a friend or somebody you know looking for a dog, or you think they need a dog, send the video that we put up. It's at 9:25 a.m. So find it like towards the end of the show, and send the link to your friends, because I'm telling you right now, you guys want this dog. There, that's my sales pitch.
Okay, Sully, it's a done deal. I guarantee you're going to find a home real soon. And a good home, because we screen, all of our applicants.
Yeah.
It's like adopting a child. We want to be sure that you're going to take care of Sully, and that you're responsible, and that your home will accommodate Sully, and that you're going to give him a lot of love. So be sure you love dogs, and you got one to love there, because you can't beat Sully, the coonhound.
He's 2 years of age, by the way.
2 years old.
He's 2.
Oh, he's only two. He's a
only
baby.
2. Yeah, he's a baby.
He's a
only
big
2.
puppy.
Yeah. And he's great with kids and other dogs, and as you can see, people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's a people lover.
He is a lover. And he's a Georgia boy.
He wants to dance with you,
Yeah.
Peg. He wants to dance.
He wants to dance.
Put the music on.
We can do that in post-production.
What was it? Somebody at Big Dog Ranch mentioned that he's like biscuits and gravy.
Oh, yes. It's a biscuits and gravy type guy, aren't you? Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He really, really is. You can see those eyes.
Well, what a winner. Well, thanks for bringing him in.
Where did he come from?
He came from Georgia.
He can't.
I had to be Georgia. I had to be Southern.
So are we still live? What, did you turn us off, Sally? No, we're still in the air. All right.
I wish you were in the studio. You're not going to believe this dog.
Yeah.
He is amazing.
If you're driving in your car right now and you're going, "What the hell's going on?" Go home and pull up the video. And
So
Rick
much
still has
energy.
the camera on Sully.
Yeah,
And he's in Building C.
Building C at Big Dog Ranch Rescue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To
Okay.
adopt the featured dog of the week, I'm sure Stu already told you can go to Big Dog Ranch Rescue. You can go to Big Dog Ranch Rescue website, and there you can view Sully and so many other dogs. But Sully has certainly energized our studio this morning. He was a real highlight.
Exactly. I wasn't
I
expecting.
think I'm not sure. He may be going home with Stu, but I'm not sure.
Oh, I love that.
But I don't know. Probably not. Probably not. I have 3 dogs at home right now.
Wow,
But,
you
you
have a
know,
house full.
But one's only temporary, because one's going up to New York with Maggie in a couple of weeks.
Oh, she's
So-
still there.
Yeah, so we'll have 2, so who knows? What do you think about it?
You have a full house.
Yes, I do. All right, thanks, Bernadette.
All right, thank
Okay.
you guys.
Good
Thank
luck,
you so
Sully.
much.
Good luck.
Our
You don't need good luck.
Our volunteer
You're too
from Big
adorable.
Dog Ranch,
Yeah.
she comes in every week and does a great job. Have a wonderful weekend. Bless you.
See you. Thank
Bye,
you.
Solly.
He's ready.
I wish I was that happy.
What?
I wish I was as happy as Sully.
Yeah, Sully was definitely
I
very
mean,
happy.
that's the reason you need a dog, because I think we wouldn't even have to have psychologists or psychiatrists. Just give somebody a dog. Someone's got a problem and they're depressed, give them a dog.
Well, therapy dogs are a real thing, and
Oh,
they
absolutely,
have real dramatic effects on people that need it, especially people with anxiety disorders and things like
exactly.
that.
Yeah, and it's just amazing. You said it. You're on point. Dogs change your life.
Yeah,
For
that'd be
sure.
an interesting study. People with dogs and depression. I'll bet you there are far fewer people
Oh, it's
with
a
own
proven
dogs.
fact.
I totally agree with that.
Proven fact. They've done studies.
And I also know that therapy dogs, they don't start them as like little puppies. I think they're a couple of years old before they can start the training. So if you're listening and you know somebody or you need or use a therapy dog, I think Sully, just based on his demeanor and his age, would be a perfect candidate right now to go through that training.
I saw
Good
a
point.
picture on Facebook the other day that just brought tears to my eyes. They had a bunch of therapy dogs in a chemo treatment center for children, and all the dogs were looking at the door because the child that they were therapy for was having the chemo, and when they came out of chemo, then the dogs were there.
Right.
And they would just sit there looking at the door waiting for the child to come out.
Oh, that's so sweet.
How sweet. Yeah. Okay, folks, we are going to get to the mystery shopping report. And as usual, you definitely can vote. We definitely appreciate you voting. You're a big part of the show, as I say, every week. And you can do so by texting us at 772-497-6530. That's 772-497-6530. Our mystery shopping report comes from Sutherland Nissan, right there in Vero Beach. So
Vero Beach,
listen.
Florida. It's just a little north of
Buckle your
Palm Beach County,
seatbelts.
and about 25, 30 miles, 40 miles, something like that.
Yeah, it's about an hour
East coast of
from
Florida, yeah.
Jupiter.
Okay, and for those of you listening to read this, Stu composed it, and Agent Lightning lived it. That's our undercover mystery shopper, and I won't tell you. I don't hate to give away the ending to a story, but I just want you to hear me say this is not fiction. This really happened, because when you hear this, you're not going to believe it. Okay, I'm speaking in the first person as if I were Agent Lightning. I arrived in the morning and was greeted by a salesman standing outside as I arrived. He asked me if I was there to see something specific. I told him I didn't have an appointment, but was hoping to get a new car that day. His smile widened, and he asked what type of car I was interested in. A sedan, SUV, small, large. I expressed my desire for something fuel efficient, easy to navigate, and not too costly. He suggested that we look at the lot, and we walked over to where the 2023 Nissan Sentras were parked. I noticed that none of the cars had window stickers. Those are Monroney labels. None of them displaying their prices. When I asked about this, he replied that the price listings were inside the vehicles, not on the windows. Like, duh. I mean, like, I should have known that. Well, of course, our regular listeners know, and I think a lot of people know, that it is federal law that mandates that the official factory sticker, also called the Monroney label, must be affixed at the manufacturer, by the manufacturer, when the car is built, and cannot be removed by anyone unless, other than the customer. Now, you don't literally have to remove it, but the customer has to say, please take off that window sticker. I just bought this car. That's federal law. So the salesperson was just nonchalant and said, hey, of course there's no window stickers on the cars. We put them inside the cars. When I asked about this, he replied that the price listings were inside the vehicle, not on the windows. After perusing the lot, I decided on a Sentra. He asked if I wanted him to get the keys. I said yes, and he headed inside while he continued to look around. Upon his return, he insisted on showing me the spacious trunk before we headed out for a test drive. That's curious.
Can fit 3 bodies in there.
Agent Lightning just texted. She said the ones I saw were all laminated and tucked in between the driver's seat and middle console, so not even really visible.
Wow, hard to believe. The Monroney label was laminated and lying on the seat. The MSRP was $21,490. The addendum was also laminated. It added $10,000 for things like paint protection. $10,000, that's a biggie. $10,000 extra for things like paint protection, microbial interior spray. That's a throwback to the COVID days. Nitrogen-filled tires, good old nitrogen. The air you breathe, by the way, in case you haven't checked on this, is 78% nitrogen, so they're putting air in your tires. Etch, it's a theft deterrent, glass etch, and a bunch of other stuff that will be banned by the new rules proposed by the Federal Trade Commission. So that's got the dealers all excited, very unhappy about some of these junk fees and useless overpriced accessories that are packed into the price of cars. During our short test drive, we drove up US 1, made a U-turn at the first red light, and then returned. That was a a quickie test drive, not the type you should insist upon if you're going to buy a car. If you have the car that you want to buy, by all means, give it a serious test drive, meaning hours, not minutes, and preferably a day or two. Drive that car in the same circumstances that you would drive your own car if you had owned that car.
That drive, you didn't learn anything on that drive.
Yeah. No,
All you learned was it runs.
Yeah, exactly. On the way, he asked me if I planned to trade in my current vehicle. I told him no, that I would also need a new license plate. I explained that we currently had 4 drivers, plus one on a permit, and only 2 cars. He quickly agreed that the Sentra would be the perfect addition to our fleet. Back at the dealership, we sat down at his desk where he asked for my driver's license and finally introduced himself as Marco. After making a copy of my license, he inquired about my credit score, asked if I planned to lease or finance. I responded I would either pay cash or finance, depending on any available incentives. He interrupted to suggest that if I didn't finance, they would need to add an additional $2,500. So, again, the deception will grow as we continue this shopping report, but the price that they led you to believe made the assumption for you that you were going to finance. Now, there's a lot of cash buyers. A lot of people don't want finance. Interest rates are high, and people have their reasons for not wanting to finance. But they made the assumption that Agent Lighting was going to finance the car so that they could take $2,500 off and make it look like it was cheaper than it was. He advised that I should finance and then pay it off after a few months, which is a very deceptive thing to do. It's deceptive to the lender. It's also deceptive to the buyer because there's a huge penalty that you pay.
And the dealer.
And the dealer.
They're going to get charged back.
Yeah, the dealer, well, who cares about the dealer? But you have, it's called Rule of 78. So when you finance a car and you pay it off early, you're not getting back all the interest. You're only getting back a fraction of that interest. And the interest that you paid, you never recover. So he was giving you some very bad advice and implying that it was a smart thing to do so you could get the $2,500 rebate. Not true. I asked to see the cost for both options, financing, and paying cash. He excused himself. And I assumed he was going to get the pricing information that I just asked for. Instead, he returned with a questionnaire. The deception is going deeper and deeper, folks. The questionnaire wanted to know how I intend to purchase the car, my credit status, military service. There's something rotten in the state of Denmark here. Recent graduation. Now, why would they want to know that, etc.? After I responded no to all the questions, he left with a completed form. Upon his return, he presented me with a sheet detailing the cost. The market value selling price was $31,490, but there was a discount of $10,750, which made their adjusted price $20,375. Now, I know you're getting dizzy with the numbers. If you were buying from Sutherland Nissan, you'd be dizzy too, and the numbers are coming fast and furious and deceptive. But then they added $3,000 for COLL, and then MIL, these are all caps, COMLTTER. This made total price $23,375. To that, they added a $1,199 dock fee, and then there was $304.50 in taxable fees, which are our junk fees, sales tax, and a hefty $666 in government fees. Interesting number. Government fees are legitimate if they are in fact government fees. The total walk out the door, drive out the door, was $27,469. I was a little confused by the pricing and mentioned this to him. He retorted rather abruptly. I mean, not only is he a crook, but he's rude. And you don't get rude with customers. It's just not smart. If you want to really take advantage of a customer, you got to have that customer like you and trust you. You don't answer questions abruptly in an insulting tone of voice. That he said that he had given me a $10,755 discount. So kind of like, why are you asking these questions?
Right.
Yeah.
After this gift I've given you.
When I asked about an additional $3,000 charge, he snapped back, explaining that I didn't qualify for any of the discounts because I answered no to all the questions. So the questions were probably things like, are you a veteran? Are you currently on active duty in the military? Have you recently graduated from college? And anything else you could figure out?
Are you a realtor? No, I don't know. I don't know if that was one of them.
But see, this is really old school. This is what the really down and dirty dealers do. They look for any kind of possible discount from the manufacturer, from anybody, and no matter how obscure and remote the chance that the readers of the advertisement or the customer that comes in will qualify for any of these, much less all of them, the chances of qualifying for all of them are about like winning the monster lotto. It's not going to happen. At any rate, I expressed my discomfort with these fees and the entire situation. He interrupted me again, asserting that he had already explained everything. I mean, now he's got himself into an argumentative, adversarial relationship with the person he's trying to sell the car to. At this point, I was furious. I stood up, told him to forget it, and walked out. Now, Agent Lightning literally did this. She told us after the shopping report
she was mad.
that she got so mad, she just got the hell out of there. I mean, and she's a pro. I mean, she has shopped a lot of dealers.
It's amazing what she's like.
Had every kind of a treatment. And I think it's the first time she's ever lost her cool. She just stormed.
She's gotten angry before because she's had.
Yeah.
I mean, she's had like managers just confront her.
Yeah.
But no, we're not where she's just turn around and.
Well, with all her skills, she has really knows how to apply herself.
Yeah.
And she was just the personality of this person. She just displayed it by getting up and just saying, "C'est la vie."
Yeah, but you know what? They need to see that, and I'm sure that that's not the only time that's happened at Sutherland Nissan. I think
it's an interesting observation about Nissan is they score very low on the dealer attitude survey, and that's an inside thing most people don't know about. But annually, NADA surveys the car dealers
twice a year.
Yeah,
I think twice a year.
Yeah, twice a year,
Yeah.
And the idea is. Manufacturers want to stay on the good side of the dealers to get their cooperation, and they value the results of that survey. They really push the dealers to fill the surveys out, and Nissan scores extremely low. The survey just came out, by the way, and Lexus, Toyota, BMW, Audi, I forget the top 10, but Nissan was on the bottom. They typically have a very adversarial relationship with their dealers, and that breeds the type of dealers that we see here at Sutherland. Nissan dealers, on the average, just don't treat their customers very well. And one of the reasons is Nissan themselves, the way they treat their dealers. So that's, I like Stu's last, he wrote this. He says, I still have no idea what the mysterious 666 devil's fee.
No, that was actually, that's from Agent Lightning. She didn't know what the devil. I didn't know what until I read it. Yeah,
666. Yeah,
it's the mark of the beast.
They probably packed government fees with something that weren't government. I don't know. Maybe they did enough wrong without worrying about the 666. It was just an atrocious experience. So we got to have the votes, and I think we probably get a lot of votes.
We kind of know where this is going here. I'll get to let me see if I'll read the ones I got. So for Jonathan Del Rey, when your first experience with the dealership is them breaking federal law, what else will they do? Definitely disreputable. This dealership gets a hard F. Thanks, Jonathan.
The fine is $1,000 per offense. So if they had 100 cars in stock, all of them without Monroney labels, that's a $100,000 fine that should be assessed. So where is the enforcement of these rules and regulations we have?
Hopefully it's coming if they get the new FTC thing, unless it's all window dressing. Mark says, easy to score, Stu. Stay out of trunk. F, minus. Way too many issues to discuss. Imagine going in for service, he said. Bob says, this may be the worst mystery shop I've heard. This must be fiction. F for Sutherland Nissan. They are really dishonest and rude. No way anyone should shop there. And I'm going to incline, they're getting an F from me. It's just too much of that stuff. I mean, we have forget about the curve. I mean, this is, the F is on the curve.
We don't give out many Fs, so when we do.
I'm giving an F, and this F is on the curve. All right?
Sure.
I've got T-Cash says F minus, and worst of all, it's a Nissan. Negan1 says, I was at F 2 minutes into the story. I'm at a point, if the Monroney sticker's not on the window, I'm leaving. Kirk in West by God, Virginia. Sutherland Nissan, horrendous. I just threw up a little bit in my mouth. Here you go. Argue with this. F minus. Oh boy, they are rolling in on here. Second channel, it's Tom Steckel says, this is an F. They took lessons from Napleton, one of the worst we've seen. Mark Anderson, great F. Part of the addendum also included money to keep the former CEO in hiding. Johnny Z. Fradley, 50% markup? Then they take it off? Then add more fees? It's getting dizzy here. F. Rocky Blockatiel, very bad and rude on top of everything. F. Tim Gilliland, a $10,000 addendum with the obligatory nitrogen. Rude salesman? F, F, F. Mark Smith, F for such deception. TJH, F. Baby Boomer, triple F. Clifford Manthe, LOL, F. And Cram, 1624, F, dishonest. Oh, here we go with Kyle in Pennsylvania. Joining late. Well, I'll answer that question in just a moment, Kyle. For me, F. Yeah, it's
too easy.
Don't even need to explain it. That's an F.
Do I even need to ask Nancy?
Nancy's giving them an A.
You're not going to take my mic away from me, are you? Agent Lightning, you and I, we got to do a mystery shop together. Oh boy, I could have some fun. Boy, could I have some fun. On a serious note, I just want to share what I've talked on the air about, and that's Senator Mike Monroney. And, you know, the sticker didn't even exist in 1958, but because of him, there was a law passed in Congress, the Monroney Act, and there is a serious fine, if not jail time, for this outrageous way of doing business. And, you know, this mystery shop could have gone sideways. I know Agent Lightning, and boy, did she handle it well. Rudeness, disrespect. I'd love to have somebody go back and mystery shop this place again just to see how they fare. They have stirred my curiosity, and for that, I give them an F.
Yeah, we don't give Fs out lightly. I usually raise the score because I remind everybody about grading on the curve. But let me tell you something: curve or no curve, that's an F in spades, and I totally agree. Do we have any? Hopefully, we have Nissan dealers on the recommended list.
I'm going there right now, as a matter of fact.
I mean, it would be
and
terrible.
Jonathan's going to have some fun with that too.
I'm on it. I'm doing it.
That's one of the reasons that we grade on the curve, because if we were grade on an absolute basis, we'd have brands, and there would be no dealers to buy from. So you have to have some dealers to buy from, and you just have to be very, very careful.
Right, so here's what we have. We actually do Auto Nation Nissan in Pembroke Pines, Florida, as a C+. H. Gregg Nissan in Delray Beach got a C. Coral, maybe we were on a generous, like one of these like really grading on the curve sort of things. But then there's a bunch of D's and D minuses, and Sutherland's on here already with an F. So
they already have an F. Oh, I forgot about that.
You know, I wonder if there has been anyone that's ever leaped across the desk at a salesperson or flipped a desk over. Has anyone really ever gotten...
The way to find out is if you go to this dealership, and if there are signs that say we will not tolerate any violence or threatening language or curse words,
Yeah.
because usually an incident will prompt a sign.
They have a sign like that at Cleveland
At Cleveland Clinic, I thought, what the hell happened here that had to put these signs up over the whole hospital?
Well, I have my sign that I travel with.
Do
So
you?
if you want me to abide by your sign, you got to abide by mine.
You
We can do this the easy
you bring
way or
it
the
out the
hard
back.
way. Yeah.
It's
You
hilarious.
know, I think we've got a couple of minutes here, and Nancy's brought up the blog I've written up about, here it is right here, the nature of the beast, and if you'll hold that up. The reason I mention that is we're really hard on dealers, and even the dealers we pass, we're highly critical. And let's face it, the Gallup Annual Poll on Honesty and Ethics in Professions, they've been doing that for 40 years, and car dealers are always at the bottom. But because I've been around so long, and I started the business in 1968, I saw, and I learned from my father too, the way this happened. And the reason you have dealers like Sutherland, and you have dealers that are not as bad as Sutherland, but they're still pretty bad, the C's that we give are for dealers that don't do a very good job, but we have to give them a C because we grade on the curve. This all happened because the manufacturers over-dealered. The manufacturers, you go back to Henry Ford, when he invented assembly line mass production, suddenly he could build cars real fast. But you couldn't sell them that fast from the manufacturers. Back in those days, the manufacturers sold cars directly. Then they discovered mass production, and they wanted to grow, and they were insanely competitive amongst themselves. So General Motors, Ford, the original Chrysler Corporation, all these big manufacturers were just at each other's throats trying to sell more cars. So they set up car dealerships all over the United States, and they had them on like a one-year franchise, and they put car dealerships on every corner. They're like gas stations and banks. Every corner had a Chevrolet dealer, a Ford dealer, and the dealers had so much competition, they couldn't advertise a car at a price they'd sell it for because they never sell the car because the competition was advertising the car for less money. So that's what turned the dealers into lying, cheating, stealing, misinforming, deceptive advertising, bait and switch, and that's what we have today. It's a sad statement on the development of why what happened exists today, and why we're going back at the very beginning of the show. The subject came up, a call came in about did we really believe that cars would be sold directly by the manufacturers, and did the manufacturers want to do that? Well, they do. They just don't want the dealers to know about it because they need us right now, and they need to keep us happy and pacify us. If we became aware that they're going to take away our franchises and sell the cars that we sell directly to the customers, there'd be a huge amount of battling between the dealers and the manufacturers. Okay.
Hey, Earl. Got one other question to Kyle in Pennsylvania. He got in a little late today. He says, new car prices are still MSRP minimum, but trade-in values are plummeting. Isn't now the worst time ever to buy a new car if you have a car that you need to trade in?
Kind of.
It's a misunderstanding, and I see the headlines too. Used car prices are coming down, but they went up so high that your car is still worth considerably more than the equivalent car at that stage before COVID. So when COVID came in, the prices of used cars soared and new cars soared. Now they're at the top of the curve and the prices are coming down. That's what's coming down. But if you bought a car, if you have a used car that you bought 4 or 5 years ago, that car is worth far more today than it would have been had we not had COVID. So you can still get, relatively speaking, a really good price on your car. If you have a lease car that you took out during the COVID issue, same thing. You're still going to you can get more for the car than what the residual value or the purchase option price is. So you're in good shape used car wise.
And Bruno from earlier, he came back in to explain What he meant was that he bought a 23 Camry TRD and a white 23 Camry TRD. He's upside down it a little bit right now, but he's wondering if, since it's a popular car, would he be able to get a reasonable enough price of it to cover most of that negative equity and leave him almost breaking even on the price?
He's in a better shape with a TRD. That was kind of it's a unique kind of car. It's like he doesn't have a run of the mill Camry. Now that's not going to mean he's going to get the same premium that he paid over an LE Camry on the trade-in, but it would be recognized. I mean, you get a little. He'd be on the. I think if it's in good shape and all that, on the higher end.
And we don't know what the negative equity is, so it all depends. The thing you do, you take that Camry and you shop it. You go to Carvana, you go to CarMax, you go to Vroom. You go to Toyota dealers, shop it around. I mean, you're in the driver's seat. I mean, it's a seller's market. You're the seller. And instead of 3 or 4 prices, get 8 or 10 prices. Used cars are still in high demand, but the prices have come off the highs, but they're still much higher than when you bought that car. So you're in a good position.
Excellent.
Okay.
Okay, folks. I think it's time to wrap it up. And Agent Lightning, what a fabulous job you did. And thanks to Big Dog Ranch for, our wonderful volunteer for bringing Solly in. And as you know, you can go to Big Dog Ranch Rescue, and you can enjoy the website, Solly and so many other dogs. And, of course, the panel here is certainly phenomenal. And
we
it's
forgot
great
to mention that you can foster dogs there too, meaning keep them for a couple of weeks. We ask that you do this if you can't adopt the dog, and a lot of people have good reasons, but you can free up some space at Big Dog Ranch so we can take in more people, more dogs. And when we take a dog in, we're saving lives, because a lot of these dogs were to be executed, euthanized.
Yeah.
A lot of shelters have a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day, some limit, and they won't keep the dog beyond that, and then they euthanize the dog. So they call Big Dog Ranch. We take them all. We don't euthanize dogs. So we have a space problem. If you want to foster, Sully, I don't think you're going to be able to foster Sully, because he was such a cutie pie that he'll be adopted immediately.
Not be around.
If you want to help out Big Dog Ranch, just say, I'll take a dog for 2 weeks, and that helps them out. And then you return the dog, and hopefully by then they can find a home.
Yeah, and we help out by paying the fees. Sometimes, you want a dog and you can't afford it. We can help you on that. And don't forget, you can go to Earl's book. You can go to Amazon, and you can pick up Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer. And the cost of that book is $19.99. All proceeds go to Big Dog Ranch.
Except the commission
and folks,
subjection.
The pictures that you're going to see online, they don't do the dogs justice. Right. Take a few hours, go out there and water, because just having Sully here in the studio, that was amazing. He is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I mean, on video, he's incredible, but in real life, he is awesome. Yeah. Go out and wander around and see some of these animals.
They're great.
And
the ranch is great.
Go there.
If you get a chance to see the dogs out during recess, actually, I don't know if it's recess. It might be all the time. They have a big pond, like a lake. Dogs are running in and out of it. It's like the Serengeti, but all dogs.
That is awesome.
It makes a great afternoon.
It's a holiday every day at Big Dog Ranch. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of another show. We thank you for joining us this morning, and I think we had more calls, Jonathan. I think it was a record. And thanks to the ladies that are listening and joining us also. Everyone have a great weekend, and we'll be right back here next Saturday morning at 8 a.m.